If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before. Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
At CDW, we get speed as the new currency of success.
Our team spends way too much time tending to outdated applications and software when they should be focused on driving application agility and innovation.
CDW Amplified Development Services modernizes software and application development to help accelerate innovation and digital transformation.
So you mean building new applications, UI, and mobile interfaces?
Well, you said you needed to innovate more quickly.
Oh, so he's a listener.
To do more at scale, trust CDW Amplified Development Services.
Nope, not going in, not gonna drown today.
Fixing your credit score can be scary, but with Credit Versio, we take the fear out of it.
Okay, you can do this. Be brave. Don't cry again. Hey, this isn't too bad.
Credit Versio helps dispute negative marks on your credit using our state-of-the-art technology that guides you every step of the way. It's never been easier to fix your credit and increase your credit score. Seriously, you can do this. Visit creditversio.com right now to get started.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and parenting education coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head and Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU. HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU.
What's up, fam? I sure missed the countdown. What's up, fam? It's welcome to Random Thoughts with DVP. Today is the 19th of October, 2022. And hey, it's voting season. Y'all know what that means, right? Get on out there and start your votes. Do my quick monologue here. I'm gonna say this about voting because it is voting season. One of the things that we got to learn about this whole voting thing is being respectful of other people and their decisions. Everybody's priorities ain't the same. And you really can't tell people how they should vote or what they're stupid for believing in or prioritizing. I don't have to like somebody's vote. Like, I don't have to like a lot of things. But you know what they say? They shit don't feed my belly. What's up, Ari? Yeah, you're on time. You're on time. Welcome to the show. So when people are voting now, and you know, voting is one of them things that you're not supposed to have a random conversation with people. Voting, sex, religion, sex, and politics are things that you shouldn't discuss with random people, because a lot of times these are the issues that make us heated because everybody's so opinionated, and we don't take, a lot of people don't take constructive criticism. Right? Is my lighting good? Right quick. We don't take constructive criticism well. We don't like people critiquing our choices. And you know, I talk to a lot of people about the voting issues simply because I just want to hear other people's opinion. There is no right or wrong. It's just their opinion. When they start stating facts, politically speaking, you can tell me what somebody has done. There is no true indicator of what they will do. You can see where they may be headed, but people are people. They can change their mind. They can flip the script. They can set you up. Everybody don't stay the same all the time and for different reasons. But the level of disrespect that we'll toss around when it's time to vote, the amount of misinformation that we're willing to put out to get people to vote like we want them to, I think a lot of times people are worse than politicians. I was on a show yesterday, and politics came up, and people just, I live in Georgia. People were debating Stacey Abrams and Brian Kemp. And one of the guys who was against Stacey Abrams just kept stating misinformation, alternate facts, AKA lies. And every time you challenge him on it, you know, one of the phrases I hate the most is, your Google don't work. My Google works fine. Your Google don't work because you can't share where you're getting all this information from. And people love to go to Twitter or YouTube or wherever to show where somebody said something. Well, if there's somebody who says something ain't the person who you're telling me about, then it really doesn't count. I can tell you there are a lot of things that Roy has said. Roy's the only one who can verify those things. But I can sit back and say, yeah, Roy this, Roy that. It's my word. And, you know, hopefully y'all trust me. But if you don't, and you shouldn't trust people when they're telling you things that they can't back up or they can't even prove, especially when it comes to making a choice. And this is one of the things that we have got to stop, along with this mentality of thinking that we have all got to stick together. There has been no race ever, never, ever that has all stuck together. It just won't happen. You got to get the majority. The majority is all that count, not everybody, because everybody ain't gonna never have the same agenda. And as long as we keep that mentality, we're gonna stay stuck at the bottom. the other thing that keeps us stuck at the bottom is not just that mentality, it's the asking for one thing syndrome. When you go to civil court, for any of y'all that ever had a civil case, when you go to sue somebody, let's just say your doctor bills and whatever your car replacement comes up to $5,000. That's all you need to sue if you want to be made whole again. But notoriously, strategically, you ask for $1 million so that you got bargaining room. When it comes to politics, a lot of times we only ask for one thing. I'm really sick and tired of people wanting reparations to be the topic of discussion. It's not gonna happen. What's going on, Wilder Baron? It's not gonna happen. So why are we making that such an issue? You just want somebody to talk about it, and it goes to that. Let me just give you some shit with some sugar with your shit to make it taste better. What's the purpose of having them talk about it if it's something they can't do? And we get so caught up into symbolism and people saying what we want to hear, and then when they don't do it, well, they just said they would consider it. But if it can't be done, what's really the point? What's really the point? But even with all that, let people vote for their own reasons. Whatever it is that works for them. What's important to me may not be important to Roy, may not even be important to my wife Trina or Ari or Wilder, because everybody has their own priorities. But when you want making requests, make quite a few. It ain't gonna happen in the next 4 years. And I think it ain't gonna happen, period. That's wishful thinking. What is our true basis for it? We don't know if we're from Africa. We don't know if we're from Syria. We don't know if we're from, hell, every time I look up, we're from another new place. So who is it that the reparations is going to be for? And how do you qualify for them? See, we got this grandiose thing that we're doing, but blacks ain't a true class. Are we African Americans? What are we? See, we'll talk about it, but what's to put it in place? We aren't Native Americans. What is our heritage that will allow us to get reparations? And I heard a lot of people say stuff, and maybe it will happen one day, like a black president happened, like a female POTUS happened. I just don't see it as being realistic. And if that's our one standard for everything, we're setting ourselves up for failure. Why don't we want things that are substantial? Why not free health care? Why not things that really matter for the whole, as opposed to asking for things? We're so caught up with money, and money, what is it? Money, the love of money is the root of all evil, and that seems to be our focus. So it's voting season. Vote your conscience. If you're going to bash with facts. Don't just sit around and spread misinformation for the sole purpose of trying to get somebody to join your side. So I wanted to get that out, but everybody go out and vote. And if you don't vote, fine. But as my mom said, if you don't vote, you don't have a right to complain about what's going on because you chose to be silent. That's a choice. Because the people who didn't like 45, the people who didn't like Obama, all the ones who lied and said they were leaving and going somewhere, I'm noticing they're still here for another voting cycle. So, let your conscience be a guide. All right. So with that being said, I got one co-host who's with me, but she's setting up shop. So let me apologize while my co-host / security is getting ready. A couple of times people got the best of me and got me to speak out of pocket. They pressed my buttons. So Roy and Trina didn't do a good job of tempering me. Hold on, okay. It can be solved. We keep unspeaking solutions. They can distinguish Japanese from other Asians. They can have us prove our lineage. It can be rolled out in waves and percentage of likeness. How they gonna have us? Most of us scared to do DNA in me because everybody's scared that they DNA gonna be planted somewhere. And what solution are we unspeaking? See, it's ideas that we're unspeaking. When we unspeak solutions, that's when we always say, "Oh, somebody ain't gonna be found guilty." We give them a way out. But that's something that's definable, innocent and guilt, the rules of law. But all right, we're gonna talk about it one day. Next time you got some free time, because I would like to hear a sustainable plan that will make this work. So, But I'm all for listening. I just want to see it. All right. Oh, there we go. BT is coming in the house, so we cool. We BT is finna show up. Trent is finna show up, and we waiting for one more. Look at that. There you go, my brother. What's happening with your BT? We're gonna wait for his audio to kick in. So, but that's what we want to talk about. And I'm gonna probably do 2 segments. But before I go there, because Trent stepped out for a minute. BT, your audio connected yet? BT, you with me?
I'm here, man. I couldn't hear you at first, but I'm here.
All right. Quick question for you before we move on. Before we move on to the next topic. Ari Hightower seems to think that reparations can be done. What are your thoughts on that? Because I know you've spoken a lot about that.
Reparations, I think they can be done, but not in a traditional. I mean, not in the obvious. Like I don't want to see, I don't want to see black folks just get a check. In the words of Cedric the Entertainer, reparations will only make Cadillac's #1 dealership. And I think they should come in the forms of vouchers. Now I think you should have about an option, maybe up to like a dozen options. Those vouchers could be to start a business, they could be to go to school, to pay off student loans. It could be to pay off old taxes. If you're behind on medical debts, all that. So you should have an opportunity to do that, to purchase land, purchase homes, and that dollar amount that you want to see people get broke off, it should just be in the form of a voucher. And you cannot trade that voucher into JP Wentworth 800 cash now. No, can't do that. You can't do that. So it has to be in the form of a tangible asset that compounds with interest. That's probably the best way. You could do a stock portfolio too as well. So that's the way I think reparations should be paid.
What do you think about that suggestion, Ari? So I'm gonna see if she's gonna put something in there. Like I say, I'm open for the discussion. I just don't see it happening in my true lifetime, because there's too many caveats. Like I said, too many of us are scared to do DNA in me or my ancestry because they think DNA gonna be planted. The same people who scared to use the inbox because they feel like the FBI is monitoring them, which I think is pure malarkey. Roy popped his camera on and he got that biting that bottle of milk thing. I mean, he got something to say. Go ahead, super producer.
Nah, man. I agree with you guys to a certain extent. And I hate to say this, I do believe that part of it can be done in cash, and if people want to just do that, people are gonna do what they're gonna do regardless, man. Unfortunately, I hate to say that. We are consumers. The way that I used to look at it is saying that reparations need to be done in a sense which is very similar to what BT here was saying, but it needs to be some sort of appreciable asset or something that will expand the person's thing. Like you said, school, trade, being able to purchase land, being able to start a business and stuff like that. We should be able to get that. Or I think one of the things that somebody said actually to me a few years, I heard in the discussion some years ago, that I actually think makes sense, even if they don't want to give people cash at this point, to do something like, don't like when BT talked about options. One of the options I want, don't have me pay no taxes for the next 10 years, the next 15 years. Let me keep all my money. And, at that point, it's going to be on the people, because see, that's ultimately what it is. Because the whole point of reparations is supposed to be to close the gap that was created during all of those times with the slavery, where we weren't having the opportunities to do stuff and we weren't able to advance in certain areas. So that's why I said I definitely agree that I don't think it's the best thing to do to talk about just giving people a check, because that, for real, Jordans and Cadillac and Mercedes gonna be gonna be rolling fat if you roll out a $30,000-$40,000 reparations check to everybody in the Black community. You know, and I mean, let's be real, because you're talking about being DNA based. 90% of the people who are, what is it, ADOS, American descendants of slaves, a lot of them are in the hood anyway. Them folks, you know, them folks ain't the Africans that's coming over. The Africans is coming over getting it. You know, the people from the Caribbean that's coming over. They out there getting it. You know, the slave, the descendants of the slaves are people in the hood. You know, unfortunately, a lot of them are still suffering from the same mentality that their forefathers had 3-4 generations beyond slavery, but beyond chattel slavery. So, you know, that's my opinion.
Okay. Was that a sign, BT? I looked away for a minute.
No.
Oh, I thought you were flashing some gang signs. I thought we finished start rolling. I just got to check. All right, so I'm still waiting on one more, but y'all know how we do this. Show gonna go on. So, BT, introduce yourself right quick.
My name is Brett Thompson, Houston, Texas, born and bred. I'm just a young man. I'm a single man with a 24-year-old daughter, proud princess. I'm so proud of that young lady. And man, and I am all about Black people using their vote as their voice and empowering themselves by using their vote. And I'm passionate about registering Black folks to vote and Black folks to come together. All this division is terrible, but it is, I mean, the division, divide and conquer is real amongst us.
And I'm gonna tell y'all something else about BT. The reason he on this show, BT, me and BT have a lot of the same mindset, but BT, there's a post we're gonna talk about in a few minutes, but BT believes in the same thing I do, holding men accountable and keeps quit blaming women for everything. Men who want to be men have got to be held accountable. So that's part of the reason you're on here, because y'all know I will defend women all the time. Black women even more so. I will blame them for what they need to be blamed for, but everything is not their fault. And when we talk about the post, it's along them same lines. So we're gonna get to that. I'm waiting for Trina's
Before we start, Mac, can I ask you a police question?
Oh, no, I won't tell you introduce yourself. I just want your face to ask me a question.
Yeah, okay. Real quick, I know it's off the subject a little bit, but DWIs versus DUIs. Now, I know how DWIs are proven. You either blow or they take, they get a court order, take your blood. If you over the limit, it's and you're driving, it's a case closed. But if you're DUI, like say if you own, syrup or that, and then how do they prove that in the court of law, or even if you want?
Well, theoretically, DUI is more alcohol based because you have to blow. If let's just say you're under the influence of meth or something else, the DUI, the alcohol thing ain't gonna do it. So then you're DWI because they can't prove you're under the DUI. 9 times out of 10 is specific to alcohol.
It's all okay. Still gonna be okay
because they can say right, you either blew this. Or
if you're riding while like under meth or something and you're just driving a little reckless, they can't get you for DUI.
If you still have to commit some kind of traffic violation. Mm-hmm. Whether you cross the center line, whether you roll through a stop sign, there still has to be a prior traffic violation before you can get to DUI, DWI.
Gotcha.
So yeah, if you're not moving, it can't happen. You gotta be moving and in control of the vehicle. All right, so I was gonna wait on up. Like we got Trina here, so she ain't soft spoken and she ain't timid. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, and before we get into this, is I'm noticing a crazy trend, and you guys can tell me if you're seeing the same thing. That and I call it whining, and I make no apologies about it. But with a lot of this whining that's going on between the sexes, dudes who look like men are whining about things that either don't pertain to them or outside of their pay grade. And a lot of times what they're doing is I'm gonna take me for instance. I'm complaining about something that 20-year-olds are doing, but they're not my dating class. And I did a thing on my page, and everybody was going crazy talking about all these things are happening. But dude, you 50, and every TikTok video you showed me is with 19 and 20-year-olds. Is that who you're dating? So why are you complaining about what women are doing if this ain't the women you're dating? Because you have no actual experience to tell me this. And it's like we look for anything to try to hold them accountable for. And me and Trina have kids. And I was like, ask our daughter, has she ever been on a date and took a friend with her to make her date pay for this? Because that's the craziest thing I ever heard. But apparently it does happen, just not in the numbers that we think. I asked Roy before the show. Roy said it happened to him. What would you tell me? It happened twice. Once that you can really remember, but the other one you just kind of vaguely remember.
Yeah, the first time it was in college, and I like I said, I vaguely remember it happening. I think I went ahead and just rolled with it. I'm pretty sure I did while I was in college because it's just one of those things. But after I got divorced, it happened again, and I actually thought about it. I was going to do it. I was going to go ahead and pay. But then I thought about it. I'm like, had you said something to me about this before, I probably wouldn't have had a problem. But the fact that you just gonna show up with your friend and expect me to be responsible for her ticket too, because her reasoning was, this is when online dating first got started. Because it was we met on some sort of dating site or something, and she was doing it because she was afraid she was trying it out new. So she wanted somebody to be there with her to have some backup in case something happened. Which, as a father of a daughter, okay, I get that. But you know what? That's your issue. And again, if you ain't gonna say nothing to me about it beforehand, you don't just spring something like that on people. I didn't think it was fair. So I honestly don't remember what I did in that, but that's my thought process. I think that's what I did. Is I'm pretty sure I told her that. But yeah, I mean,
well, make sure you ask your 3 kids. So I want to get an update from the younger generation to see if it's something that's young that old people missing out on. BT, you got any examples of that, or have you heard that?
I've never experienced that exactly, but the closest thing I did was when I first moved to Atlanta, I was doing online dating, and I met a young lady. She had just moved to Atlanta. She was from Chicago. She didn't know anybody, and she had a 9-year-old son. And when we would go out on dates, she would bring her son, and and then she would offer. She made the offer like she was gonna pay for her son and all that. But I didn't mind paying for him, and he was a good kid and everything. And not to say that if he was a bad, disrespectful kid, I wouldn't have done it. But to be honest, man, I've been in the dating game for a long time, since the early 2000s, and I've never gone through that. I've never seen a woman. I mean, I think I've been over 200 dates. I don't ever remember being meal hustled or a woman basically. Now, I think I've been on dates where women really wasn't feeling me, and then and since I was a nice guy and I asked them out again, they said, yeah. I think I've gone through that, but I don't consider that meal hustling and they've definitely, no one has ever brought a girlfriend along. Anything. Now I've seen girlfriends come out the house when I picked them up and take a picture of my license plate. I wasn't really tripping on that. I thought it was kind of funny, but other than that, no.
Trina, you got any examples of that, or have you heard anything from our daughter?
No, she said she wouldn't do it. So
yeah, I just never heard that. Am I coming through your speakers?
Well, I have to because I don't have the headset.
Oh, no, I'm kidding. All right, so do y'all hear the echo, or is it just me?
It's a slight echo.
For us, it's not bad.
Okay. Let me try this then so she can hear me right quick. Did you change the surgical? All right, so Roy, can you put the post up right quick?
Yes, sir. Is this the one you talk about, Darren?
Yeah. I know I'm gonna cut mine up. All right, yeah. And okay, and Jermaine, let me just say this. Jermaine was supposed to be a guest. Can you hear me? Oh, you won't know till they say something. Jermaine was supposed to be a guest, but his mother suffered a stroke, so he can't be here. But he was asked. He had committed to it. So the post says, some of you women rejected men who are going to make you a wife for a guy who made you a single mother. All men are not trash. Your taste in men is trash. And maybe, just maybe, you attracted who you are. But we're not ready to have this conversation. And that's why I want to have some women here, because I think we have had this conversation ad nauseum. And I think, again, we're deflecting and redirecting our angst and our hurtness on somebody who doesn't deserve it. And the first thing I want to commit to, and Ari's here, as a matter of fact, Ari, when women typically have kids, they're younger. And are we holding a 20-year-old, a 21-year-old, or 25-year-old woman to the same standard that we hold a 40-year-old woman? Of course, they're not the same mentality. So whenever I see this whole thing about pregnancies and all this, are we really comparing apples to apples? Or are we comparing, our 40, 50-year-old selves to 19 and 20? Because I think when men do this, men or dudes comparing their 40, 50-year-old self to the behavior of a 20-year-old, which is wholly unfair. Because I'm of the impression, and I'm gonna let Trina speak, at this age now, would you have had a baby by the same person you had babies by when you were 20? Because the mentality is different. And these posts always point that out more to me. So Trina, knowing what you know now at 30 plus, would you have done the same things that you did when you were under 30 with the whole baby situation?
I think that's kind of an obvious no. No, I wouldn't have.
And why do you think that is?
Because I've grown up, I'm matured, I've learned what to look for, signs to look for and things like that I just didn't know about when I was in my 20s. My whole, like when I'm dating, I don't even look at the same things. Like when I was younger, it was just more of like, oh, okay, I like you, you like me, we have fun when we hang out. Okay, let's, do the thing that we do to make babies. It's way different now, so I'm older, more mature.
All right, and I know that BT had signed off on the post about let's not blame men for anything. What you got for me, Rob?
I hope you saw the sarcasm in that comment.
Oh, I did. That's why I wanted you here.
It's crazy, man. Okay, you got to think about, if you're 40 years old, think about when you were 20. Do you have the exact same friends you had then? You don't have the same friends. Because when as time goes by, people grow, people change. I got a friend I grew up with. I grew up with a white guy. Man, listen to rap music, BET. We was Rap City every day, every Saturday, all that. We thick as thieves growing up. I mean, by the time Obama got in the office, this dude was a Tea Partier. Then he turned into a Trump supporter. Then he's borderline Proud Boy. He's not that same guy. He's not. I don't even want to have a drink with this guy anymore. This is a dude I spent the nights at his house. So how can you not? All right, did I make a bad decision when I was 12 years old hanging with him, or even when I hung out with him when I was 19 and 20? Was I making? I mean, am I responsible for his Proud Boy stuff now? No. I mean, people change. People grow up. People grow into what they become, over this time. And men, I think they forget that, that we change. Like, just because we have a baby with a woman doesn't mean necessarily we want to be with them for the rest of our lives. And then men and other men that don't have babies with women, they look at the woman as she just making poor choices. You gotta pick better, sis. You gotta do better, sis. It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. Because when we're young, we're not necessarily having a baby with a person that we love. We'll be having a baby with somebody we kind of like, someone that was fine, And she has a baby, she puts on a little baby weight, and then she's not as fine as she used to be. I'm really not feeling that, so I'm dipping out. So is that a bad decision on the woman's part? Because she had hopes and dreams of living with this man and going on and getting married. I mean, just because the man changed doesn't make her decision the wrong decision because he changed.
And one of the things is, did he change, or did he he couldn't come to grips with the difference in being a boyfriend than having to be a father and a boyfriend? You know, and like I said, I was talking to Trina, that when we're young and we're dating, like you, BT, we're thinking about the fun things, and you know, a lot of these women have heard that same song and dance about, oh yeah, you have my baby, we're gonna be together forever, yada yada yada. But having a baby makes you grow up a lot quicker. So now we can't do all the fun stuff. And if we're honest, ain't but one person tied down, and that's her. Because we still go out. We'll walk away and leave. And when guys say, oh man, you know, she started nagging, she started doing this. Well, what was she nagging about? Because she wanted you to get a job and help take care of the baby. What was she nagging? What changed? And when I see these posts, again, we're talking about me at 40 and 50 versus me under 30. And we quick to tell women to choose better. But in reality, how many women have asked us out? You know, the men ask the women out. We present the good friend. Sometimes, and you know, this is true, they can vouch whether or not they were a good boyfriend. Lots of people have been good boyfriends, but pregnancy changes them from boyfriend to having to be a provider. Or most of us really ready to be providers at 24, 25, men. Roy, BT, are we truly ready to be providers for a family at 24, 25?
I got married at 24, walked into a ready-made family. So some of us, yes. Most, I would honestly, because I was gonna kind of disagree with some of the stuff, but to that particular point, I would agree. I don't expect, well, put it this way, especially not nowadays, because these cats getting in the 30s and they just seem like, I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing? I'm like, you know, I'm really, it's like, you know, I was in college and all this stuff, so it was a different situation for me. But yeah, it's interesting, man, to see how some of this stuff dealing with, because that was one of the things, you know, because you know I got my 25-year-old daughter. And it's like, when I was dealing with some of the dudes that she was dating, you know, I'm just like, yeah, I know, you know, because in your 20s, the first thing, the most important thing is your attraction to the person. And your attraction to the person, a lot of times has to just do with the physical, maybe the emotional, and the physical and the emotional are the two dominant factors. You know, how does that, you get around that person, they make you feel a certain way, you like the way they look, and you're not really concerned with, okay, what are their life plans? Mm-hmm. You know, at least not initially. Because ultimately, that's the one thing I can't say about my daughter, that all these other dudes, you know, I didn't really have to say much because I set a standard. So she knows what to expect. She knows what she's supposed to do. She knows what a guy's supposed to be like to do stuff, to be with her. But you know, she eventually got to the point where she recognized, okay, yeah, he ain't trying to go nowhere. That ain't me. You know, I'm trying to make some moves and get some places. But I think, yeah, I think it's very difficult out here for young girls at this point, because, and we've talked about it, this goes to your overall point. I think we've got a full-blown generation of young men who honestly don't have a clue of what it takes to lead a household. You know, they and unfortunately, it's not their fault. I mean, you know, we can't blame them for what they never saw. You know, I tell people all the time, my parents were divorced when I was before I turned 1 year old. I didn't find that out until I was 20-something, because my dad was around, and it didn't register to me that, okay, they just live in different places. That's what I thought it was. My dad had never disrespected my mama. He never let me disrespect my mama. You know, did none of that. My parents didn't talk bad about each other. So there was none of that. But see, unfortunately, that's what we get today. In the last 20 years, when a lot of these people aren't with the parent or the parent anymore, they're talking bad about that parent. So see, that does detriment to the child's relationship with the parent. But see, then that, especially if you're talking about a woman who's constantly talking bad about a father to a son, or if you're talking about a father who's constantly talking bad to a daughter about the mother, that psychologically does something to that child about themselves. And so we gotta get better at that. But that's the problem, man. A lot of these boys don't have a clue of what it's like to see a man lead a household. And I think that's a very difficult thing for us to come away from, because
it seems like it ain't the boys who's complaining. It seems like it's grown men who complaining about young women.
Hold on, do me a favor, Trina or D, one of y'all mute y'all computers. That's all you got to do. When the other one's talking, just mute your mic.
So yeah, who's doing the complaining though? It ain't the young people. Most of what we're seeing is from older people who are trying to regulate something that is way beyond. BT, what's your experience?
I think it comes from, man, we take anecdotal situations. We take the lowest common denominator, the worst situations. Like we'll see a woman drop her baby in a basket of fried chicken and fry the baby and be like, see how black women be doing? No, man, it doesn't work like that. You can't take the lowest part of of a particular group and then paint the whole picture with them. You see what I'm saying? And
right.
And you're right. And you're right about men. And when it comes to men, man, this is the way I break it down. You know, this society can be led to greatness by men. This society can be destroyed by men. This society cannot be led to greatness by women, and it cannot be destroyed by women. It's all about us leading the way. Either we're going to triumph or we're going to fail, depending on what we do. Women can't bring us down. You know, we lead the way. And I think a lot of men don't want to take on that burden. A lot of these young guys it's not necessarily young guys, they want to be 50-50 and they want to be 50-50. They want a woman to go out there and work, pay half the bills, then come home and clean and cook and all that. It doesn't work like that. You know, what I'm saying is, if you want your woman to work, then you're gonna have to do some domestic stuff too. All right. Now, if you want to bring home the bacon and pay for everything, and then she'd be like, I need to go shopping, and you giving her money, okay, then you can expect more of a domesticated woman. But in today's world, you know, you can't expect your grandmama if you're not bringing, because your granddaddy brought home the bacon, you know, so you got to expect to bring that bacon home. And so it's all about perspective and mentality. It's a lot of men out here who want a free lunch, who want to be able to test waters and have their cake and eat it too. And they want to complain about women, younger women that got nothing to do with them anyway. And I think it comes from being rejected by women that they wanted and they weren't able to get. And that's where a lot of it comes from, you know. So like all these women out here, they Instagram thoughts and blah, 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 but they want to be deep down inside, they want to get with that Instagram thought. And they, at least to play around with. So, and since they don't give them a time of day, they spit venom.
BT, let me jump in real quick on something you said, because it's one of them terms that itches my ass, as I like to say. But we gotta clear it up now. Everybody want their cake. Of course, if you get cake, you want to eat it. The problem is they get the cake and want the cookies on the side. That's what it is. Because you want to eat your cake. You don't want to get your cake and not eat it. But you know,
I think they want cake they can't afford. They don't. Everybody can get that pound cake, but everybody wants some cake with icing that they can't afford, and then they get mad at you know. But go ahead, Roy.
No. I mean, you know, it's funny. One of the things that I saw, when I first actually moved up to this area, I used to work bartender at a spot over in Athens, and I was looking at even the stuff that I saw, man, when we were at Barley's, and it blew me away how many, because at the time I just turned 41 when I moved up here. Yeah, I just turned 41 when I moved up here. And I'm watching these cats. I'm bartending at these clubs, and I'm watching these cats come in here who are 50, 60, 75, acting and looking like 20-year-olds, or trying to act and look like 20-year-olds, the way they dress, the way they talk. And that just blew me the hell away. Because I'm like, what the hell, who are you trying to impress to make somebody? I'm like, dude, we look at you and tell you 60. You know, they're not even young looking like we are. These cats was wrinkled and all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, dude, it's interesting. And that's what I said. You said something that I think a lot of it does have to do with that physical desire that these men have, and what they want to see, or what they want to have on their arm, what they want people to perceive them as. And I think that's one of the problems that we have too, is that especially, and this is one of the things that I think that too many Black men suffer from, is that their value is based in what other people say about them. And their value isn't rooted in themselves and knowing who I am and what who I'm about and all that stuff. Because like when you talked about the whole being domesticated and all this kind of stuff. I had an ex-girlfriend who made 6 figures. And I didn't have an issue with that. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna be who I am. I've got my things, I got my business, I've got my ideas. But like you said, if we're gonna be together and we're in the house and she's the one doing this stuff, I'm never, as a man, it didn't make any sense for me to even think, hell, she out working just as hard as me every day and bringing in more money, and I'm not gonna cook food, I'm not gonna wash clothes, I'm not gonna do the stuff. It didn't even register to me to think that, well, I'm the man, and since both of us working, when we talk about this 50-50 thing, well, that's just money. We ain't talking about 50-50 with everything else, because that's what most guys are thinking. They're like, oh, it's 50-50 with everything else, but no, when it comes to all the domestic stuff, you got to do all that like my grandmama did, like you said. And that's just the level of ignorance.
But if we're sitting here, and as BT was saying, we have a standard, and this standard is constantly being ignored by men, but we're telling women that they should step their game up and do more, but get less and less. That's kind of crazy. And that's why, I hate that the other lady ain't here, but that's why I want them to, because it's, to me, it's something I was saying earlier, it's a form of control where we're trying to control them to make them submit to crazy behavior. And at 40, Trina ain't the same, and I don't want to use the term loose, but she ain't the same foolish girl she was at 21. So why do we think that, BT, you say you've been on 1,000 dates. How many 20-year-olds are you trying to date?
None.
So
Not now.
If you're looking for a woman who is a woman, why would you expect her to have the crazy mentality? These women, they bypassing their husband. How can they bypass the husband if this guy ain't asked them to marry them? They ain't bypassing the husband. They bypassed another lurker. Because at some point, as you're saying, for us to progress, at some point the men have to become men, but we keep demanding that Trina and ladies, step up more and do more and let us be lazier. Let us complain about them and shame them and say, hey, well, you had a baby at 21, it's because you made bad choices. The father didn't make no bad choices, because he's the one who got to walk away. Like I said, every time a guy will tell me that, what happened with you and your baby mama? Man, she started tripping. When did she start tripping? Before or after the pregnancy? It's always after the pregnancy, because she changed. Because no matter how, I'm sorry.
She's a mother now.
Right, she's a mother now. So her whole mindset had to change. But we are not as willingly, we accept fatherhood as a younger generation while she's pregnant. When that baby hit and things truly change, then we don't want to play no more. And we're free to walk away. And that's why I want the ladies here, because like I said, I know Trina she's had truth. What do the young men do once the baby comes in? When did the problem start, Trina?
Well, for me, it was after the baby had got here, especially with the first one. You do all the nice talking, and you don't know, you know, my first kid was his first kid too. So it's not like either one of us could have really sat and watched to see, you know, what kind of parent the other one was. We didn't know. We were young, early 20s, and I was 21 when I got pregnant the first time. And you know, we had talked about all kinds of things. We made all these plans that some good plans, even to this day. I'd have to say there were some really good plans. But once the kid got here, and then, you know, he realized working wasn't an option no more. It's a necessity. You have to work. You need to work. You got to help pay these bills. You got to help. And yeah, you can't go hang out with your friends and run the streets no more as much as you used to. Yeah, you need to come here and you need to stay with the baby when I go to work. Like, we need to work as a team. The teamwork, we weren't good teammates.
And to me, that's the whole issue. That somebody becomes an adult, the other one still wants to engage in playtime, and then we'll hold her accountable for that play. Because, oh, I can't.
You muted
hit the button
DVP.
and muted yourself.
Oh, no, I didn't mute myself. Somebody else muted me, but I ain't gonna call no names. But yeah, the father still wants to play, and that's why, you know, when I asked the question now, because now I got a pattern of questions I ask every time I see guys complaining about this. When did everything change? When did he stop? When did he stop with the, oh, we're gonna do this together, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna raise my child, we're gonna be a happy family? When, as they say in the streets, when shit got real. Because now there's a real baby here. There's a real baby that's crying and waking up in the middle of the night. Who needs to take care of this baby in the middle of the night? Who needs to do this? Go ahead. You ain't gotta wait on me.
I do, because I have to unmute. I have to keep
Yeah.
muting.
Okay, unmute.
And on top of that, you know, they also need to understand, you know, like I can't remember who said it, BT or Roy was saying, you know, there really wasn't nobody to show the men how to be, you know, father figures or family men, you know, nowadays. But the truth is, a lot of us girls, we didn't have examples either. Just because mom was in the house does not necessarily mean that she taught us what to do. You know, yeah, lessons come from us watching, you know, us listening, and, you know, them actually, you know, telling you lessons. Okay, well, baby, make sure you do this. A lot of moms was not doing that. They were not doing that. They, you know, we were watching Kevin Samuel's videos, and he asked this one young girl. He said, well, he was like, well, who taught you how to be a wife? And that got me to thinking, like, damn, ain't nobody never teach me how to be no wife. I grew up with a single mom. My mother raised, so I didn't have an example of what a wife looked like. She couldn't sit here and tell me, okay, well, when you become a wife, you do A, B, C, X, Y, Z. I didn't know a single darn thing about what it was to be a wife. They're not teaching us either.
And that's a great point, because, and BT, no, because he see the same thing I'm seeing. We love to complain about the missing man in our life and what nobody taught us, but women don't get to have that excuse. And as we sit back and we degrade women who are doing this, we don't realize we're hurting our own future, because we're trying to bring her esteem down when she already got left, when all these other things happen. And what's her excuse? You don't hear women jumping up saying, well, I didn't have nobody to show me. How many times we see them say that?
We're taught, as far as like by watching, we're taught how to be moms. That's pretty much it. And if we're being raised by single moms, we're taught how to be single mothers. That's what we learn. I never expected to, you know, it's sad, but like, I never really expected to have like a whole family unit, you know, me and the guy and our kids. I never expected that. I didn't see it. If my mother wasn't one, none of my damn neighbors, everybody was single mothers. They was all being raised. So it's not even something that we look forward to. So how will we know anything about being a partner to a man when we didn't see it?
Right. The generation, like the people that are about 35 years old to 50, that was the single parent era. That was the, you know, that was the result of, you know, of the war on drugs and, you know, and the crack epidemic. So it's a lot of people that grew up in big cities that grew up with single parents, and, you know, I mean, I guess in the country too, it happens too. But like, it is. I mean, the nuclear family, the traditional nuclear family, is now being. I've seen studies that saying that children are being raised now a lot more by two parents than they have in the last 30 years. So I think it was a situation where women had to step up, you know, back in then and be single mothers and go out and get these and go out and get jobs and all that. I think they did it out of necessity, out of survival. Men weren't there. They just weren't. They were strung out on drugs and they were in jail, and it was what it was, and they were being killed. So women had to step up and do their thing. So they necessarily couldn't play their role of the wife and have that traditional role of the traditional nuclear family. But it's turning around. It's changing. And you're seeing a lot of children being raised raised in a two-parent home, and their values are seeking, but the ones that aren't, it seems like it's a feast or famine type situation. The ones that aren't being, they out there bad, you know. They out there. I mean, the ones that are in the hood killing and drugging and doing, they're doing really, really bad things.
But how long can we stick behind?
It's the cycle.
How long can we stick behind this mentality of boys were the only one who didn't see something? You know, one of the things, most women never saw a two-parent household. Most women, if we speaking of the crack era, most women didn't. A lot of women didn't have a responsible mother. You know, they were doing what they did. It was still the crack era. A lot of things that afflicted women, we don't give them no account for that, because it seems apparent to me that we expect them to always rise up, and unfortunately, for too long we've been coddled by women. Not necessarily by our mothers, but we've been coddled by women. They've let us get away with being substandard. You know, when I listen to Trina sometimes, or when I listen to other women and they tell about the things that they put up with, that at this age now, as a grown woman, they wouldn't put up with so much. But when you're young, you got this hope. You still got hope springs eternal. Mm-hmm. You're still in love. You got all these other things going on, where as the older you get, you become more practical. You're like, hey, I'm gonna end this shit early. We ain't gonna keep doing this. But these dudes, they never give them a break. They never give them a break. It's like, let me just keep shaming her. Oh, it's your fault you got pregnant. You should have kept your leg closed. Trina, completely based off what we did last night, BT, so you already kind of privy. But Trina, what do the studies say about sexual assault between people who you're dating? I mean, we don't discuss this, that men are assaulting women at crazy levels. What does it say? 1 in 6 women have been assaulted by an intimate partner or something like that?
Wow. 1 in 6 women. It's that 1 in 6 women have been sexually assaulted by the time they're the age 25. It didn't necessarily say exactly by whom, but a large percentage of sexual assaults come from people that we know.
And then we wonder why women are defensive toward men sometimes. They've been assaulted by somebody in their circle. They've been assaulted by somebody who they deem to be close. You know, and this is, we just sitting around talking because of what Buddy said last night, BT. And, you know, there are women who are forced to get pregnant by an intimate partner when they don't want to be. They're forced to have unprotected sex even though they don't want to get pregnant. All she got to do is tell her no. And you know, and I don't want to drift off into crime statistics, but by every metric, minimum, rape is underreported by 80%. 80% minimum. Because it's, women will deflect and tell themselves it wasn't rape, or they'll take the blame for us to keep us out of prison. They do all this, and all we do is look for another way to launch on them or blame them for something. And this is why I always fight. And so we got to quit blaming women. Women have been holding us up forever and 12 days. Men want to be men, but they don't want to do men shit. What did Mike Tyson say? Everybody's a fighter till they get hit. These men, they want to be men and fathers till it's time to be a daddy. And then it's like, oh shit, I didn't realize, I couldn't go to clubs no more. I can't buy these Jordans no more. Trina gonna want me. What you mean I gotta buy diapers? What you mean I gotta work more? Why you can't work? Oh, hold on. You want me to stay at home with the baby?
Wait,
Oh, hold on.
But wait, I do work.
I don't want to stay at home with the baby, so I'm gonna go work some more, maybe. But then you want me to get a 40-hour-a-week job when it was all fun and games? It was okay having a part-time job. You can't have a part-time job with a baby.
Yeah, when after I had Janai, you know, like I said, it was me and him. We were trying to do our little partner thing. Eventually, it got to a point where he just wasn't even working. He quit a job that he didn't want to do because he didn't like doing it. It's like, bro, we're not at a point in our lives where you can just be quitting jobs because you don't like the job. I don't like my damn job either, but these bills got to get paid. So he's not working. He stays home with the baby. I'll go to work. And I tell you no lie, I'm not exaggerating, not even a little bit. As soon as I opened the door to go in the house, he already had his hat and his coat on, and he just walked out the door. As soon as I walked in, he walking out. Just like that. Hitting the streets, be gone all day. Sometimes might not see him for 2-3 days.
And this is where, you know, I'm of the mindset, and I've done this a couple of times, where I like having shows with just women, because grown women need to start educating young girls, because they don't have anybody to look up to other than us beating them down, because they're so busy being mothers, they don't have time to do a lot of other things. Well, we got time all day, every day to make excuses for everything. You know, when I'm listening to people, when I'm hanging out at the club, everybody living their best life. Then you go to Facebook and you see something, or you run into the baby mama, you find out that your boy who at the club with you all the time, popping bottles and smoking cigars and talking about how great the daddy is, he giving $30-$40 a week. You know, oh, I'm doing the best I can do. I just saw you spend $200 at the strip club. Man, she tripping. She always trying to hit me up for money. And it's like, damn, when do we stop our foolishness and listen to them? Because we don't give them a voice. Because, you know, there's a lot of things I blame women for in fights, because they're better fighters than us if we ain't on point. But men are so good at beating women down, they can't never attack, because we keep telling them what they ain't shit at. We keep telling them about all the bad mistakes they made. You know, one of my favorites is, oh, if you got a baby, you know, you fall to the bottom of the barrel. Ain't nobody gonna date nobody who got a baby. Ain't nobody gonna want a woman who got a baby. And damn, BT, without even being prompted, you just said you went on a date with a woman who had a 9-year-old more than once. And it's like, where did this come from? Because you won't do as you think men won't do it, but bonus dads are everywhere.
Yeah, Roy married into a ready-made family.
Right. I'm good with that. I'm 46 years old. I mean, I'm dating women that's anywhere from 35 to 40 to my age, maybe even to 50. I mean, I gotta expect them to have children. You know, I expect women to have children at this age. That's just the part of life. You know, people, when you get to this age, you're gonna have children, and I'm good with that. I really am. You know, even if they're young, I'm good with it. So, because I'm good with children, and I believe in, and I know there's a woman that's out there that has a purpose and that's responsibility, and she's not gonna be out there necessarily. Well, not necessarily. It's a smaller chance that she's being out there running the streets if she has mother duties at home. And I mean, you know, so I'm actually kind of drawn to single mothers. So when I was 25 and 26 years old, yes, I had to have a woman, no kids, had to be light skinned, had to have long hair, had to have this and had that. Man, I mean, I threw that away a long time ago. I mean, when you have stupid lists like that, I mean, they're usually all superficial. Right. When you have a woman, when you find a woman that's good, and that loves you unconditionally, you're gonna want to reciprocate that. You know, especially if you love her just as much as she loves you. You know, I don't know if you heard, you can hear it in my voice. You're hearing this from a man that probably missed off a situation that he had, a woman that he should have married, and I learned from that, man. You know, I learned when I was in my younger years, I was very selfish, and I was very stubborn, and I understand, man, it's give and take in relationship, and men, and that's what it boils down to. A lot of stuff that men talk about is selfishness, is foolishness. One podcast, this one guy going off talk about Talk about what do you bring to the table? Talk about what do you bring to the table besides a womb? I make plenty of money. I have a house. You know, it's about and the woman's trying to explain, well, I'm going to make the house a home. And she said, well, I got a decorator for that. You know, she said, I'm going to do the domestic everything. So I have a clean lady for that. So I have a chef for that. You know, he's saying, so what do you bring beside the womb? You know, like, I mean, fool. When the world go down there and slap and punch you in the mouth when the white man's on your back, you know, who do you come home to who's going to give you support? It's all right, baby. Dust yourself up. Listen to your rants about what's going on in the world at your job. Who's the one that's who's gonna have your back, even when you're wrong? Have your back in other situations. Like if you go out, get drunk, get a DWI, who's gonna bail you out? You know what I'm saying? You gonna call a bail bondsman, or is your woman coming to get you? You know, with her bonnet on at 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's what I'm talking about. When you find somebody that's truly, unconditional love for you, and you're an adult, you can reciprocate that. That's what you value. You don't value any other stuff and cooking and cleaning and all that. You know, I mean, that stuff is nice. You know, I mean, that stuff is good, but that's not what relationships are built upon.
Well, and you said 2 or 3 things, and because it's funny, the first thing you said is the post was about you, huh? You missed a good woman, and so we don't ever say, you know, I always see the posts about women. Do you ever realize you messed over a good dude? We don't ever see the one that say, dudes, do you realize you missed on a good woman, or you missed over a good woman? And I'm a firm believer, and because I said I dated great women, and I let them go because I wasn't in a place to be a great partner for them, and I didn't want to ruin them. I don't think I missed out because where I was mentally, I wasn't gonna change who I was. But as you said, the thing is, I notice a lot of these single dudes, they're so pissed off, and it's like, are you pissed because you want Trina, the chocolate cake, but you can only afford the pound cake. So because Trina won't give you a chance because you ain't bringing nothing, you know, yeah. Trina came into my life. I got a table. I don't need her to bring a table. I got a table. The reason she got invited to the table is because I see something in her. Why? Unless a woman asks me out, and I still ain't a fan of this, why should I ask her what she brings? The fact that I'm pursuing her means she already brings something because she got my attention. I ain't just placed an ad in the paper. So I'm going to her. What is it about her? That's what she should be asking me. And Trina used to ask me that all the time. What did you like about me? And for the longest, I didn't know because I didn't know how to verbalize it. But I got a table. I got a house. It's not a home. I got this. You know, as you say, when I'm having a bad day, who do I come home and talk to? I'm talking to the pillow. I'm playing PlayStation. Life is a whole lot different when you got somebody who will sit there and listen to your BS, listen to you whine from time to time, and then give you that look and say, you done? All right, now take your ass back to work and get this money. And
now, what you said about not being able to afford the cake, it's not even that a lot of the time. Sometimes the woman just because you got everything together financially and everything, and you're ready for a woman, it doesn't mean she's automatically going to feel you. The one that you want is going to want you, you know? And I think a lot of men are bitter when they're rejected like that. You know, man, what's wrong with me? Ain't nothing wrong with me. I look good. I make good money. I got a house. I got it going on. You know, everything's straight. No kids. Blah blah blah. And she didn't want to holler at me. That's just how it is sometimes. You know, you can't take that rejection and hold on to it like a hot stone, because all you're gonna do is burn yourself. You know, so you gotta charge it to the game.
But ain't that what we do? I mean, I know at one point Trina probably had 20, 30 guys in the inbox all telling her this. You know, she got 2, 3 proposals. To me, this shit is hilarious. You know, and then as soon as she say something, now she a bald head bitch, she a stupid. And I'm like, wow, yeah. you in an inbox though, you trying to holler at her, and cause she don't go there, now she all this. And it's like, when did this happen? And you know, yeah, I ain't stupid. Yeah, of course women do it, but the man, if you're going to be a man, be a man. Stop trying to be a 20% man. This ain't 50-50. Either you a man or you ain't. You can't sit there and take off your man hat when you feel like, why? I mean, and we all have down moments, but you got Trina got all these guys coming to her, Antoinette, excuse me, Ari, I'm sure y'all got guys in your inbox. And as soon as you say something they don't like, you're a bald head hoe. You this, you that, you this, you that. And you know, damn, they got to do so much. And every single time, BT, you can speak on this. Every time something happens to a man, in the general eye, who are the first people that we see standing up for these men? Black women.
Mm-hmm.
We see black women time and time and time again. And you know, when I said something, I said, damn, black men refuse to say anything about Breonna Taylor. Anything. But they want everybody to get on the George Floyd bandwagon. But we don't want to acknowledge Breonna Taylor. And it's like, damn, I mean, how long are we gonna do this? Keep asking them to have our back while we being these bullshit kings. But we ain't doing nothing but dogging them. We trying to get them. We want them to slide off with us so we can talk shit about them. But it ain't never my fault that I got somebody pregnant at 22 and I had the ability to walk away. Because when I ask, you know, because I want to be fair. Fellas, ladies, how many women do y'all know that walked away from their child? Of course there's some. But how many men do you know that walked away from their child? The numbers ain't comparable. They're not even close to each other.
And then the thing that's annoying about that post was it said, let's say you let your husband pass you by or something that's like that, so you could be a single mother. Who the freak is choosing to be a single mother? Like, hey, sign me up. I want to be a single mother. We're not asking to be single mothers. We don't want to be that. Like, damn, we're not, you know, like, come on now. It's like the stuff that they say is ridiculous. Like, but then you think about, you know, when it comes to like child custody and things of that matter, who's complaining more? Oh, damn, it's not us. It's y'all. Because y'all chose messed up. Y'all chose that grimy ass chick who won't let you see your baby. I see way more of men complaining about their baby mamas than I see of women complaining about their baby daddies.
Yep, that's a lot of it too. Like, you were talking about earlier, where did we go wrong and all that. It seems like in the beginning when you do the family thing, like, you know, you do the family thing and the man, and a lot of times the man ends up cheating. And when he ends up cheating and then he gets with somebody else, that's when the drama starts. The baby mom. That's when the games are being played about with child support and seeing the child and all that. Because when you do the family thing at first and then you let something outside the family break it up, you know, that's when feelings get on 1,000 and people get bitter and people become resentful on both sides. It goes both ways, but most of the time, you know, it's you know which way it goes.
Yeah, so I can agree with that. Yeah, I didn't really experience that myself, so I forget about that. That yeah, you know, she probably still got feelings for him, or you know, might see him not only cheat on her, but then move on to a woman who has a child. So now you over there playing daddy,
yeah,
and we over here, you know, by ourselves. So yeah.
And you know, and that's the crazy part, because we don't ever want to look at our part in this. Why do women feel a certain way? You know, and like for the bulk of my life, I've only dated women with kids. It did a couple of things for me, but one, it told me how responsible I could see her level of responsibility. You know, if she always talking about trying to go out with me and push her kid off on somebody, see, to me that's a bad look. It's a bad look that you always, because you want, you know, and I get it, you know, you got to do what you got to do, but if that's what you're always, well, let's do, I get so-and-so to watch the kids. I get, damn, you know, it's like, you know, you don't want to just say, hey, we can only do it this day because I got to be with my child or whatever. To me, that just showed me a little bit about how their caretaking skills go. How serious are you about taking care of the home, especially if we're in the beginning phases? You know, once we're a little bit closer, I guess it's a little playroom, but like you did, BT, they could come with us. They could come with us. Because now, if I'm serious about her, BT, you know this, we will change the way we do things. So if I want to take Trina out and I know her daughter guys come with her, well, maybe we'll go to Chuck E. Cheese. Maybe we'll go to Dave & Buster's. I ain't going to keep trying to go to adult restaurants when I know the child has to come with us. Because if I'm serious, who do I need to meet before I can be super serious with Trina? I got to meet this child. And it's like, you know, I see people beating people down because, I see guys beating women down because of this. Like I say, it's always we trying to keep, Trina had made a statement, the George Floyd thing, take your knee off my neck. And it's like, Is it the cops who got their knee on the neck, or is it black men who got their knees on the neck of black women because we want them to constantly submit to bullshit and put up with this because of, and I can't even say it's a mistake, it was ignorance about the situation as a young girl. We want them to be 40 and still have a 21-year-old mentality. Because I'm seeing these older, and that's what's bothering me. I'm seeing dudes who are over 35 complaining all the time. It's one or two who are young boys. You know, I was waiting for him to come to the show so I could cuss him out. That's why Trina here to hold me back. But it hurts. But it's these older dudes. Like I said, you know, we did the one post, and you know, Trina was going in on dude. Everything you're posting is from young people. Everything you're posting looks like a skit. His girlfriend had a birthday party, and it's 18 of her friends, and she expected him to pay. Come on now. Come on, dude, come on. It's TikTok. What TikTok do we really take seriously? But these are what you're using for facts. Come on, give me something. And we have got to stop. You know, the BTs, the Roys, the Jermaines, the Raw. We got to start telling boys to how to be men. And if you ain't ready to be a man, which is fine, stay on your dude stage, wrap up, and quit playing this baby. You know, one of the girls I know, she asked me, she said, well, I like this boy, and you know, we thinking about having a child. I said, well, where do you live? She's like, well, I still stay with my mom. I said, where he live? He still stay with his mom. I said, you know, do what you want to do, because you technically you're grown. But why would you have a baby with a guy who don't have a place for you to stay?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's little things like that we got to start pushing it to both sexes, not just a woman. Dude, if this is where you want to be.
Yeah, but
go ahead, I'm sorry.
But see, that's one of the things that I was talking about how, you know, we're not trained up to be wives or know what to look for either. You know, a man moving in our house, that's normal. Like ain't that what we do? Ain't that what's supposed to happen? That's all we saw. That's what we saw growing up. You know, we live with mom, she get a boyfriend, he moves in, they either work or they don't work and he leave. And then, you know, that's what happened. We don't know anything else. We don't know to, I hear an echo, I hate it. We don't, you know to think that, okay, well, you know, a man, you know, there's a lot of women who say they want a provider, blah, 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 but they don't know that a provider is going to have his own home and then come bring you to live with him. We don't know that. We never saw it. Who's teaching us these things? Nobody teaches us this. So it's like, you know, the onus of responsibility is not just on us. Like, we all need work. When women need work, men need work, you know, like it's y'all's job to teach the younger boys, and then it's our job. Like, I got 2 daughters. It's my job to teach my daughters, you know, these things, what to look for, what to expect. You know, if a man is on his stuff, look for ABC or whatever. Like, now I have the responsibility of actually just teaching that. And it sucks because, you know, when you're living life and you're raising kids and you're working, you're doing so much, you're doing so damn much, you kind of forget to take a moment out to plant these seeds or these jewels of wisdom into them for you know, their life, for when they leave you. We're so busy worried, oh, is your homework done? Did you do your chores? Did you take a bath, brush your teeth, watch it? You know, it's just so much going on. And sometimes we just forget. We just forget that it's extra important to sit them down and talk to them about these things. And then, you know, for women like me, which is a whole bunch of us, it's a little uncomfortable because we really are like, we would be like the first generation to do that, to verbalize these things, you know, to actually try to show them like, this is what, you know, we never had that. We don't know.
And the bad thing about it is, it ain't that they don't know. I think the load is so heavy that they're so busy trying to survive, they don't have a lot of time to do future educational stuff, because life is coming at them so fast and hard while we are running, living our best life, running the streets, you know, thinking that if we get $20, $30 a week or, you know, a month, that's doing something. And that's where this has got to stop, because both sides can come together. While we talking about everything that white people doing, everybody else doing, what are we doing? We don't do community economics. Group economics. We don't support each other. We waiting for the opportunity to bring each other down. You know, I talk about, we love making millionaires millions, but we won't help our friend make 100,000 because it's not cool. And And then we get to the whole relationship thing. You know, I'm lucky in the sense that Trina don't get offended when she see me trying to help another woman or promote some self-esteem. You know, and it's so many. Why you doing? Why we can't just preach a little positivity into random people? You don't never know who need it, who can just stand a pat on the back. Somebody say, you know what, you're doing a pretty good job. You're doing this. Because some of us just, a lot of us don't know because we ain't had a chance to see it. Or in the case of men, we don't want to see it because it's too easy for me to sit back and blame and say, yo, I ain't never seen my daddy do it. But what are we in again right now? We're in the age of information. It's on TV. We've seen it on TV. We just don't want to do it because it's easier for us to be dismissive and avoid accountability and responsibility. BT just said he passed up he was in a different mindset. He probably missed some good women. But that's the conversation we don't want to have. The conversation we don't want to have is how men who want to be leaders are succumbing and we fall into women leaders, but we keep talking about what we should be. Well, you know, and I used Trina, I used a couple of other women. And, you know, one of my favorite polls was, ladies, when you got into your relationship with your child's father, did you move in with him or did he move in with you? I'm looking at all these women saying he moved in with me. What the hell is that about? Where did that come from? But a lot of these,
it's all we know.
I'm sorry, you muted yourself, baby.
Oh my gosh, I'm so tired of this.
You said where does this come from? I just told you where it come from. That's all we know. It's all we know. We've never seen a man move which would have been our mothers. We never jumped up and moved and packed our stuff and moved into a man's house. So, you know, it's like you keep asking the men, you know, like, oh, where did y'all get this from? But, you know, and I know that you want to get on the men because, you know, you want to hold the men, but it's like, we share this. Like women, we have some fault in this too. We have failed as well. I'm not gonna say me because I'm doing my job. Hold up. But you know, like the mothers before, they have failed us too. You know, it's not just the men. Like I hear you going in, do your thing, boo, but it's like you almost just a little too hard on them, just a little too hard, because it's kind of like freeing us of the responsibility. And I understand what you're gonna say, because women don't ask for submission, women don't ask to be kings. Yeah. But we still have things that we need to do as well. We still have lessons that we need to pass down and we need to teach. And if we fail to do that, then it leaves our daughters in messed up situations to choose these men who didn't have fathers, and then the cycle goes on.
But and I'm glad you said, but that's the point, because that's what we see. We see it all the time. Women struggling with their child, living alone. That's what we see. So it becomes the norm, and it's accepted by the next group because they see it. And at some point, yes, I want you and Ari and Antoinette to start pushing this message. Me and BT and Roy and all of us, we can start pushing the message, because at some point we've got to push it. Quit settling for nothing and expecting something. Because, you know, the thing I love most about women is most of them, they keep hope. No matter how many times you push them down, they keep hope. No matter how many times Harriet Tubman was told it was a dumbass idea, she kept trying to rescue slaves. She kept trying to rescue her husband. Who's like, nah, you on your own, babe. I done got married. I ain't finna do this because I'd rather be stuck here. I don't want to take no chances. You're gonna expect too much of me. And I'm watching this transformation, not transformation. I'm watching this submission by men, because we prefer that the women take chances while we just skate along, because hope springs eternal with women. You know, they hope we're gonna get a better job. They hope we're gonna do this. They hope they can influence us. And we just don't, hey, my boys and they ain't never got no job. They woman took care of them. My boys and they ain't never had this, they ain't never had that. And you know, as we start talking about reparations, when they get that tax money, when they get are we gonna do something constructive with it, or are we gonna go out and blow it on something personal? And this is why I do hold men more accountable, because we're always demanding to be kings. I've seen very few posts with women demanding to be queens.
I know, but it's that you ask, you know, where did you see that? where did you get that from? They got it from it's the norm. It's normalcy. So you can't expect them to just know something that they've never seen, they've never heard of, nobody has ever talked about. It's like, you know, like you can't expect them to know better if they don't know better. We as the women didn't know better. We didn't know to request these things or to require these things. So we can't ask that of the men. So it's not like they're just like, oh, well, no, I ain't moving you in nothing. I'm just gonna come live with you. Like, we just like, okay, come move in with me. You know, it's already homey here. We don't know.
And that's why we got to make the slow progress. It's like most things, it ain't gonna happen overnight, but we got to start a building block somewhere. We got to do things where we come together and can talk about it versus being combative about who is the more this or the more that. You know, one of the things that not every time, a lot of times when I see these dudes talking about women being masculine, and I ask them to tell me specifically what she's doing to be masculine. And I've noticed it's come down to a few little crazy things. If she's independent, that's masculine. If she can survive without you, that's masculine.
And then, you know, another thing is like, sometimes it seems like you get a little caught up in the Facebook world or social media world, because in real life, you know, you said because men are asking to be kings. Man, in real life, men ain't doing that shit. In real life, men ain't like, oh, are you gonna submit to me? In real life, they're not saying these things. They get on social media and talk this junk, but in real life, I ain't never in my life, ever in my life, heard no man say, you know, ask me, are you going to submit to me, or I'm the king of it. Like, all this social media shit, this shit is not real. It's the thoughts in the back of their mind that they will never let come out their mouths in real life. So, you know, it's like, yeah, on social media, they're asking for these things, but in real life, they're not.
Okay, I'm gonna disagree with you there, because when I'm at the credit union, I talk to every time when I'm asking men, when I give them scenarios, the $4,000 of this, a lot of these, nah, I'm the king of this. This is gonna be this, and I start hearing it out there. And again, I start hearing it from a lot of older men, because it seems like they're adopting a young boy philosophy. But most of these guys are over 40, and I'm like, where did you get this from? Why? So this ain't just social media.
But what I'm saying is, they're not bringing it to us. I don't think you've ever been in a relationship with a man. I ain't trying to play you or nothing, but you know how we do. If you want to know about what men do, you ask women. If you want to know what women do, you ask men. I'm telling you, as a woman, these men are not doing this shit in real life. They're not coming to us saying these things.
No. Okay, and I guess so. I didn't say they were saying it to y'all. They're saying it. That's why I go hard at them. Once they give me that whole phrase about them being kings and them wanting a submissive woman, then that's when I can go in, because they've said it. Because if they don't say it, I ain't never had a conversation with BT, because BT ain't never said nothing like that to me. But once they say it, then I got a list of questions, because I want to know where it is you got this from. Why do you think this? Why do you think that? Because what makes you, how did you get to be this? How did you get to be that? That's why, you know, I say I hate this, and I'm hearing them, because it seems as if a lot of us, as BT was talking about, as Roy was talking about, a lot of men are regressing and going through a midlife crisis where they want to be 20 again. And they want to do 20-year-old shit because they want to abandon all responsibility, because, as you say, they see on social media, not in real life, that these things are happening, and they believe that they're real. Oh, women are doing this. Where? Where are they doing this? Oh, I saw it on TikTok. I saw it here. So you ain't seen this in real life, but this is what you're basing your projections on what women should be doing. They, you know, because one woman will make a post that, oh yeah, if a man bring home all the money, I'm gonna do whatever he want. What did the lady say on Steve Harvey this morning? That in 12 years she's never denied her husband sex. Nobody believed that shit. Nobody. In 12 years you ain't never. Steve, I've been denied 12 times in a month. 12 years you ain't never told him no. And so yeah, there are certain things that people will say, but when they say them to your face, you get a whole little different, you get different stuff. And when they start this, because I see what they say about relationships, and you know, we do have the conversation. Ladies, if you want to know what ladies do in a relationship, you got to ask BT. BT can tell you what they do, no matter what they post. The single women can tell you what men do, regardless of what they post. Oh, I ain't doing this here, whatever. That ain't what the women saying. But just basic conversations, because everybody want to have a conversation. I mean, some of the stuff that even we do, the other show that BT is on called Overflow, which is on Tuesdays. Have you not heard guys say some crazy things about life that we know not to be true?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm in a dating group, and a woman asked men, "What do you really want from a woman? What do you want?" And the answers were really simple. This answer I gave, I said, "Just let a man be a man, and when you see a man truly leading, follow." And like Trina said, a real man ain't telling a woman, "You need to submit to me," blah blah blah. You know, a man leads by his actions. If he's taking care of his business, he's taking care of his business. He ain't got to tell you. He gonna show you. And then once he's showing you that he's taking care of business, just fall in line. That's all. That's all it is. You know, just don't question everything he does. You know, well, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you trust that he's taking care of his business, and he's not gonna lead you into a dark tunnel. You know, with a light at the end of it as a train. So basically, like you're right. You don't have to be submissive, a submissive woman. You don't have to tell my king I submit to you and all that. No, you don't. You ain't got to do that. All you got to do is follow.
So, Trina, what makes you repeatedly question the man who wants to be your king? Back when I know it's been 100 years since you've been dating, but back when you were dating, why wouldn't you just submit organically to every man? Why you got to question me? Why you always challenging me? Why you making me go to work?
I mean, I didn't have those issues. I didn't have the struggle for dominance or power in my household. I was the dominant one. I mean, it is what it is, you know. It's like you give them, you allow them to be the man, as BT said, but when they fail and it's like something important, or they just can't seem to make shit connect, then it's like, you know what, well, I'm gonna do what I need to do. And then you just take the reins and you do that. I grew up with a mother who was the dominant one. She ran the house, period. My way or the highway type attitude. She was not like me. I'm not like that anymore. I made myself change because I think it kind of, you know, that mindset and that attitude kind of doomed her to just being single forever. But, you know, I grew up that way. So that's how I was. I probably even subconsciously chose men that would let me be dominant. It wasn't until I was about 30, 31 that I actually like fell back some and shut up just a little bit. You know, I was always, you know, a little scrappy dappy do. I had to shut up. I had to learn that though. I had to learn how to respect men.
So Mimi says people in relationships that act that way, I believe they don't trust or have confidence themselves to make a good decision for themselves. And I think a lot of the submission revolves around that. How can a woman submit to a man who is not making good decisions? How can, you know, if I get locked up and the rent is due, my bail money is rent. What should Trina do? Should she pay rent or should she bail me out of jail? Which ladies, if your man gets locked up, what do you do? You pay rent or you bail him out?
I'm paying rent. I'm paying rent. You shouldn't take your ass to jail.
What you got, BT? I heard you mumbling.
I definitely should pay. She should pay rent, and then, you know, after rent is paid, then try to work on a bail, because there ain't no sense of him getting bailed out to no home.
And see, and like what I know, like I've heard a lot of people say that men want to be providers or like they want to be needed or whatever. Women want stability. I think for the most part, naturally, women want stability. So yeah, you're damn real. We're gonna pay that rent. I love you, boo, but you need to sit in there just a little bit longer. But you know, so and it's crazy because I'm about to go into something else. But you know how we get shamed for wanting men that can provide stability. It's like, why are we like this? Why are we the only group of people where the woman is shamed for wanting a stable life from her husband, but then they want to go into traditional roles and all this other shit. It's like, well, traditionally, the man provided the stability. The woman stayed and she complied with all the other stuff because she had that stability. When we are insecure in our situations, yeah, it's going to be some drama. It's going to be some problems. And you know, of course, insecurity, y'all all grown and mature and intelligent and everything. So y'all know that insecurity isn't just about how you feel about yourself, your situation, your, you know, all kinds of stuff. If we don't feel stable, it's going to get crazy.
BT, you want her to get you out of jail or pay rent?
I pay rent, man. Pay the rent, man. Me staying a few extra days in jail ain't gonna kill nobody.
Antoinette, Mimi, what did y'all say? I know y'all was saying job.
They say rent. They say rent.
Okay. And you know, depending on the charge, I'm of the thing. Let them, unless it's, hell, if it's a major felony, then he effed up anyway. But go and let him stay in there so he can go on and get that signature bond. Them 3-4 days ain't gonna kill him. He'll be all right.
And it's crazy. She said it depends on the situation. What you mean? If that's all you got is
you got your mic off.
I'm sorry, we keep doing this mute unmute thing. But I see that Dee said depends on the situation. Well, I mean, the scenario was you only have enough money for rent or bail him out of jail. But then again, I can kind of see that too, because it I guess it would depend on what kind of man you got. Is he the type that if you bail him out of jail, he gonna hurry up and get that money for rent? You know, of course, that requires a lot of trust. But yeah, I wasn't really thinking about that because some men good for that. You know, you take care of them and then they get out and and if he doesn't get the money that quick, then he probably gonna do something that's running them back in jail. But you know.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of that would depend on the charge, which I didn't really put in there, because, like I said, in our situation, I'm sure she would get me out because I have the ability to earn money. Yeah. You know, but every situation is different. But I was looking at the way the men said it. You know, all the men demanding to be, you know, oh, I can hustle this, and you know, to me, one of the craziest things I ever heard, just crazy to me. If you can hustle in 3 days make the rent money, why is it taking you 30 days to get it paid? Why not be a hustler all the time and get enough rent so that if you do something crazy, y'all got to stash some money somewhere where she can get you out and pay rent. The fact that y'all are struggling month to month says to me
poor money management.
That you got poor money management skills or you ain't preparing for an emergency. I mean, you know, this ain't to toot my own horn, but one of the first things that when Trina had, we started planning for emergencies. I told her, you know, hey, this is what we need to do. We need to have this on hand. We need to have this. We need to have that. No, we need to have this. You know, here's some money, keep this, don't spend this. And, you know, but I look at so many guys who, yeah, we all complain about having to live from paycheck to paycheck. But at a point, that means you're just bad with money. You're trying to do too much to pacify everybody. You got cable, you got new rims, you got the Jordans. All them could have been putaways for a rainy day. But you ain't living for a rainy day. You living for right now. And damn everybody else. I forgave my baby dad over $5,000 because the judge was ready to put his ass in jail. The following Monday, he was starting a new job. And, you know, like I said, a lot of it is situation, but just in general, you know, we have to teach men to do better. We have to teach women to want better and to truly, you know, one of the phrases I hate is I know my value. But sometimes your decisions don't say you know your value. But it's cute that you say it, but we got to teach them that there is a whole system that you can start looking forward to. It. Nothing is 100%, but it's better to gauge your future with. BT, where you live? Texas. I know. Is that an apartment or a house?
House.
See, I keep thinking it's a restaurant. It looked like there's some people sitting in the background with their hats.
That's the old school boy. It's in my man cave.
Okay.
and see, you know, stuff like that in my world would make BT a little bit more eligible. He's got a home. He's got a house that he can bring somebody into if they get serious to turn his house into a home, even though he got his man cave decorated. But these are the little things that we have to start seeing. One of the reasons I absolutely love Georgia is you can walk out in the middle of Atlanta and you can see somebody famous, somebody rich almost anywhere. You don't have to go to a special place with their guards. You can go to a mall and run into somebody. You can see Black people doing good things. You don't have to just watch TV. You can touch them. That was one of the things that was primary to one of the reasons I never wanted to move. My mom had she had me a black dentist, she had me a black doctor. They're black females who doing this. When Trina came down, you know, we can find this to promote this healthy mentality that we don't have to be at the bottom of the barrel always whining about what we ain't got and how to make things. You know, I want her daughters to see that, hey, this is what you should be striving for. A man who can do this, a man who can do that. Yeah, you're young, you want to have fun like everybody else. Be young and be careful. But I can't keep holding Trina accountable for her 20-year-old decisions. At some point, that has got to change, and men have got to stop shaming, and women have got to stop taking their bait. Don't take the bait. Do like we do. You know, when I see single guys complain about marriage, you know, I've learned to ignore them. I don't see a bunch of married guys complaining about marriage, except for the ones who cheated and want a divorce anyway. But you know, there's a whole group that are men for married and marvelous. You don't see them. I mean, yeah, everybody has problems, but then oh man, what all a woman brings to a marriage is the opportunity to get half. Well, shit, they got prenups for that. But in order for it to get half, you got to have something. Living in your mama's basement or your grandma's basement, what you gonna get half? You gonna get half of the sofa and that because damn, you living paycheck to paycheck. So what's she gonna get half of, player? What's she gonna get half of? And it's that. And like I said, they're so forgiving. They're so forgiving. Hope springs eternal with them all the time. And that's a great thing. You know, all these women, they starting to go to white guys. And what's the post we saw one time? The guy said, you know, if he loses the house, he don't want no woman who won't sleep in the car with him. That's how faithful and loyal he wants his woman to be. And he was dead serious. And you know, I'm hoping
he was a woman that'll sleep in the car with him.
Yeah. When you on that one? He said that.
I'm not sure if I was on that post, but I've seen that one before. I mean, and that's when it's that true ride or die crap. I'm not gonna ride or die with you. I'm sorry. You call me what you want. I'm not about to make no foolish ass life altering moves, dumb, foolish, fall into the bottom moves with you. If you're doing dumb shit, I'm not doing it. I'm not. I'll tell my husband I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I'm like, why, you know, I'm hoping this one of them social media things, but why would you want a woman to sleep in the car with you because you screwed up? I mean, she should be looking to replace you. Period. She should be looking to replace you.
I don't know about replace. I think that's a little, you know, I think she should, you know, she should get on her grind and do, they both should be grinding and doing what they need to do, you know, because to replace him, I don't even like the way that sounds. That I just thought of that, like, oh, well, you fell to the bottom, deuces, goodbye. No. Now you step in and you step up too, you know? I mean, that's just what it is. We help each other. I hate to hold down. We lift each other up. So
when you get to a certain age, your fall to the bottom shouldn't be homelessness.
You ain't lying. You're right about that.
Yeah. You should be able to go after your dream or after what you got and still be able to at least maintain rent.
Right.
You know, even if you paycheck to paycheck. Like you should be able to maintain residence, a place to lay your head and all that. If you're 20 years old and you end up homeless, okay. But if you're 40 years old, 35, 40 years old, your decisions that you want to make shouldn't, like the worst case scenario shouldn't be homelessness.
Right. It's like you was already close to being homeless any damn way.
Right.
Right, and that's all I'm saying. To want a woman to stay in a car with me to prove her loyalty, see, to me, he's already lost his mind. If this is his real life mentality, you know, if something were to happen, the first thing I'm gonna do is, you know, get Trina to go stay with my mom. I'm gonna find somebody for her to stay. She ain't finna sleep in the car. And to have that mentality, you know, ride or die. And you know, I've spoken on it. I don't like the term ride or die, because if I'm gonna do something that's gonna get me killed, I would want my woman to step in and say, hey, baby, you're not finna do that. That's the dumbest shit you ever said. Sit your ass down, eat, and go to sleep, or whatever. But don't let me go out and do something that's going to get me killed. And, you know, ride or die may mean something different, but ride or die. I don't want to die. I don't want a woman who will let me do things that will let me die. To me, that's just that I'm confused. And so maybe it has a go ahead.
I think ride or die is more figurative than anything. Like if you want to start a business of like say you want to start a business selling cell phones, right? And then your ride or die, she's gonna be staying up with you, gluing cases together, you know, like or packaging up phones and sending them off to Amazon, sending them off to FedEx or UPS or Amazon or whatever, and shooting them out that way. You know, that's what a ride or die is. Somebody like that supports you, that'll get down and get grimy with you, not necessarily break the law with you or do something to put your lives in danger.
Okay, so
they really be wanting them to break the law though, like for real. Yo, they hold these drugs and shit.
So BT, I'm 57. If I want to be a rapper now, so Trina just be like, yo, baby, go for your dream.
She gonna say, all right.
I asked you to say, what should she do, BT?
She said,
based on what you just said.
As long as you got a trust over here for me. If you got a trust, you gonna be MC old school if you want. As long as you got a trust over here for me, that's a golden parachute.
Trina, can I start my rapper career at 57?
No. That ship is sail, baby. It's time to let it go. Let it go. You can do it for fun, you know, make your little videos upload them on YouTube, you know, so people can laugh at you. But seriously, no.
You ain't quit no job to do it.
Hell no.
What's up, April? How you gonna just come in and say no? Hold on, y'all ain't never even heard me rap. I could be like the next big thing. What's going on? April's one of my realtors, great woman. I can't believe y'all won't let me be a rapper. I just and BT, you too. I thought me and you was boys.
Come on, man.
I'm muting and blocking everybody.
You got so much else to offer this world than rapping.
Right.
And then she laughing. She know I can hear her, right?
She okay with that.
I can hear her laughing right next to me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's 7:45-ish. So you know we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. But yeah, I mean I want and I hate that my other two guests couldn't show up because I really did want more women input on this, which is why I'm glad I had Trina on standby, because we do need to hear from women and understand what they did at 20 is not who they are at 40. We got to quit trying to push that narrative back, to push them backwards because we don't want to be adults, because we want to be 40, 50, 60, 70 and behave like 20-year-olds. And unfortunately, most of us don't have a golden parachute to allow that to happen. You know, yeah, I was fortunate. I retired at 44. So I got a consistent income if I don't ever work a day in my life. Most of us didn't have it like that. So if you don't have this, why the older you get, you're supposed to be getting a little bit smarter. It ain't supposed to be luck that keeps getting you there. Why is it we're requiring women, we want them to dumb themselves down and be supportive of foolishness and fuckery just to make us feel good? Because at some point, I should bring something to the table. And if I want Trina to join me at that table, in my world, and I think most men's world, they're going to present what makes them a great catch. But the trick is, whatever it is that we offer has got to be valued by the person we're offering it to. I'm sure that BT has went out with plenty of women. I'm sure Trina has been out with plenty of guys who may have been great guys on paper, but y'all didn't mentally connect, y'all didn't emotionally, all the physical stuff could have been there. That's not enough nowadays. The older you get, the less the physical is as important. When you're 20, everything's about physical. Ain't nobody having long-term conversations. Even though Trina loved to talk on the phone, she held me hostage for like 2 days one time. But we do get wiser, and our requirements do change. We want a different type of connection if that person is the one. And this is one of those things where it's a mutual acceptance thing. Just because you look good on paper doesn't mean you look good in real life. Because if she got everything, Antoinette is financially stable. What does she care about a man who has a bunch of money? She's financially stable. She's looking for something different. Everybody's looking for something different. Oh, you passed up a good one in me. You know, I know that was one of the things that Trina had heard about, how she passed up something good about somebody who was taking great care of her. And a lot of women have heard that story.
I didn't hear that.
Huh?
I ain't hear that.
That's what you said.
You said that somebody told me I passed up something good.
Yeah, he was the best thing that ever happened.
Ain't nobody tell me that. Who told me that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
So, but you know, and everybody loves to say that they're this person. Oh, you passed up a good thing. You passed up a good thing. Huh? What'd you say, BT?
No, that was me. I said it was Hirsch.
Hirsch is a whole different type of fool. Hirsch made me get drunk on the show in 3 minutes. But you know, and it's crazy that we won't accept these truths that everybody ain't attracted to us. And that's the quickest way to get into the name calling. Oh, you know, what'd you say earlier, BT? You want them to be fine and light skinned. That was a 20-something mentality. When did you get over the light skin thing? I'm sorry, light skinned. Let me get light skinned it.
In my late 20s, when I realized that, boy, light skinned women gave me the blues. But I completely flipped the script.
Trina, when did physical start taking the back seat for you as a woman?
Like how far back?
I don't know how far back, you know, when
I don't know. I can't really say it was like ever something that was so super important. I mean, I've had an ugly boyfriend when I was like 19. So I mean, I kind of, you know, it was always for me, even when I was young, like that whatever connection, you know, even though like my connections when I was younger, it was based on really stupid stuff, but that was what was important to me at the time. But for me, it was always mental, you know, always. And then, you know, you just have to be attractive enough that, you know, I'm not repulsed when you take your clothes off. That's pretty much it for me.
Okay, when did you start replacing the stupid stuff?
I mean, it's not that it was stupid. I was just young, you know. So like I said, you know, if we were hanging out and you're cool, you got a laid back personality and we can chill together and we vibe, you know, we smoke, we drink, like that was all that was required at the time. So it's not like, I mean, it was stupid, but I was young, so I was supposed to be stupid, you know?
Okay. All right, so April says at 60, she looking for a partner that brings at least as much as she does to the table, mentally and financially. And that's, you know, as we get older, our priorities do change because we ain't looking at partying all the time. We ain't looking at all this extraneous stuff. We ain't looking for a lot of acceptance by our friends or by the community that somebody think we got a hot chick or a hot guy. It's more individualized, but we still will pounce on. Dudes still seem to be wanting to pounce on women. They want to be shopped. What did the lady say? That she don't shop at the flea market because she looking for, what did she say?
I don't know. I can't remember these people saying this.
And see, what about retirement, Mimi? But yeah, but this we have to do better as a collective. We have to support each other. You know, it's sometimes when I get on Facebook, I don't do nothing but defend strange women because guys are going them on crazy stuff, telling them what they miss by being too strong or too masculine. Oh, ain't no man gonna want no woman who make her own money. Ain't no man. And I'm like, where y'all keep getting this from? Where y'all get? Just say you don't like that. You know, me and BT might not like the same things. That don't make neither one of us less of a man. All of us got different things, but to keep trying to tell women, oh, ain't nobody gonna want you if you got kids. Ain't nobody gonna want you with this. Ain't nobody gonna want you.
Yeah, but like
I say, that's social media shit. They're not coming up to us like, oh, you got a baby. Oh, ain't nobody gonna want you. They ain't not saying that shit to our faces. They are not telling us that. You know, oh, you can't make this much money. I'm telling you, this you can't get too caught up in these words. Because it's like they're Facebook, social media is a lot of words without meaning. In real life,
social media does really put unrealistic standards on people.
Yeah,
you know, because when people take their pictures, they decked out, they wearing their best, they looking their best. That's not them. You know, that's them dressed up. You know what I'm saying? That's not them 24/7. That's not them when they wake up in the morning with stank breath, you know, and you know, and everything.
No eyebrows.
People don't understand that. And then as soon as they see you not the real person that's on social media, then they get turned off. And that's really not what a real connection is anyway. That's not a real connection. That's fake.
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, thankfully for us, pretty much everybody on this panel and everybody that's watching, we're older. We were around and we were adults before social media got popping. So we know how to get out here and actually talk to people face to face. It's these ones coming up that they really don't know anything about, like just approaching somebody on the streets, or it's like social media really is their real life. So for them, it might be different, but for us, it's not. So I just don't see any reason for us to just keep talking about what's being said on social media. We don't live social media lives. We live in the real world. And in the real world, people our ages ain't coming up to us saying this shit. They doing it. I'm telling you, they ain't doing this shit. They is not asking you, are you gonna submit to me? They not doing it. They not. I'm done.
I thought BT was finna say something. I saw his mouth move.
I agree everything with Trina said. I agree with everything she said. I don't have to add much when people talking, when people are really spitting the truth and not really and not talking foolishness. I mean, I don't really have a lot to interject.
All right, well, it's 10 till, so we get ready to shut it down. BT, you got any closing statements for me, sir?
I mean, people, man, keep it simple. Keep it simple like grandma and grandpa did. I mean, look for somebody who will listen to you, somebody that you can talk to, someone that you can be around and really get a connection to. Someone that's you find somebody that's like-minded, that have the same ambitions. If somebody, I know they say opposites attract, but finding a true friend, a true companion, it takes time. You have to be willing to put in the work, and don't just be. We live in a world today where we can just swipe left. So we're way too picky. As soon as we see one little thing that's off kilter, we're ready to rip the ejection button. And it's like, I mean, and you got to look at people, listen to them. Good Lord gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth so we can listen more than we speak. Listen to people, hear them out. Don't let nobody lead you to destruction, or don't let anybody talk you out of what you know is right. But listen to their point of view and put their shoes on, and really try to get an understanding. So basically, quit trying to live by the memes that you see on social media. Info-memation. I'd say 80% of what's on memes are not accurate, or not 100% accurate. A lot of it's just opinions and bullshit. So basically, you have your own compass, your own moral compass. Live by that. Live by that. If you're spiritual, follow your higher power. Don't let people convince you of outside crap that doesn't have anything to do with you. And that's all I got to say. I'm about to watch these Houston Rockets beat up on the Atlanta Hawks. So I love y'all. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming, because I know you're a busy man, and you know what I'm saying, you usually cooking, so I appreciate you.
Yeah, I still got to go cook too. I cook and watch the games. Astros playing too in the playoffs.
When we come to Houston, we coming for a meal, brother, since you can cook.
Done deal. Done deal. Come on down. I'm going to show you how we barbecue.
All right, I got you.
All right, man.
All right, appreciate you.
Have a good night, BT.
Good night.
Pretty wife, man, you got any parting words?
No, BT pretty much covered it, with the whole social media thing. Don't get so wrapped up in social media world that you actually applying it to real life, because it's just not real. It's like, and like I told you before, it seems like in the social media world, for whatever reason, Black men seem to be getting radicalized against Black women. I don't know what that movement is all about, but we don't have to participate in that shit. And anybody who is into that, like he also said, you use your moral compass, use your intuition, feel people out, and and move from there.
All right, and y'all know, hey, I'm all about just being accountable and responsible. Stop feeling the need to insult everybody. Everybody ain't for everybody. And it's okay to move on. You ain't got to say nothing bad because you ain't for them, they ain't for you. Just let it go and move on. Find your type. And it may take you a few times, because as much as we love to say, I know all the games and I know all this, you don't. Get your relationship. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle. Your grandparents did it. They just didn't have social media, and they did it when you weren't around. It's okay. Quit thinking the microwave is the answer to everything. And fellas, step your game up. Stop living paycheck to paycheck. If you got to cut something out now so you can have a future, yeah, I know tomorrow ain't guaranteed to nobody. But when it shows up and you ain't got nothing, you're going to regret not preparing for it. And if it ain't for you, do it for whoever you think you love or these kids. Leave something behind for them other than your bitterness or your remorse or what you could have, should have, would have done. It won't kill you. Like I said, I want to thank BT. I want to thank Trina Marie for taking time on her busy schedule to come grace us. And I got my super producer, Roy, in the background. Roy, you got anything to say before we let go?
Nah, man, we good.
And this is Random Thoughts with DVP. Y'all know what it is. Oh, finished my drink too early. So until next week, y'all know what it is. Peace, popcorn, and chicken grease. And we out.